Thank you everyone for coming out today. Okay, that's better. Thank you everyone for coming out today. I first want to start by welcoming everybody to the 2017 golf season. I know I was itching to get back after the long winter, especially since I stay up here now. I'm sure a lot of you went down south and worked on your games, but I just want to start off by thanking the Whippoorwill Club. This place is such a treat to play. I know original Donna Ross design and Charles Banks later on redid it. It's one of my favorites, and it's a pleasure to play it today. The greens look pretty good out there, so hopefully everybody has a good time. First, thanks goes out to Jim Wall. I know he runs a pretty good ship here. I know a lot of people that have worked for him. His assistants, Gregor Tusky and Carrie Steffen. Thank you to the general manager, Jeff Martocci, and the superintendent, Paul Gonzalez. I know that they have some projects going on right now. They're redoing the entire driving range, adding some chipping greens in the back. So if we can, we'll try to take a look at that and sneak out there. I know the driving range just closed. Everyone's probably gonna be a little disappointed about that, but how many times do we walk out there and just tee it up with our members? Well, we're gonna test how well everybody warms up with just a little stretch and a tee off. Anyhow, I'm going to continue on. All this wouldn't be a day without having the Met PGA staff doing all their hard work. I can't tell you how much they do, especially in the off season and getting ready for these meetings. And for them, it's really a year-round job, and I can't thank them enough. I'm going to start off by thanking Jeff Voorhees. Congrats to him and his new child, Andy. A little girl. I believe he is going to be staying home today. His wife is getting out of the hospital, but they had a successful birth, so congrats to them. As the past president had always said, the glue of the operation, Kelly Clayton. She's incredible at what she does as the director of operations, and she holds down the fort. Dan Kiley, it was sad to see him go, but happy for his work with it as the head tournament director, so appreciate Dan. You guys will be hearing from him a little bit later. Dan Frankel, of course, running the junior golf operation, so thank you, Dan, for all your hard work on that. Paul Giordano with public relations. Obviously, he's the one videotaping me right now and doing everything with the website, and I was just talking to him about how difficult computers are and how difficult they can be sometimes, and the fact that he studied that and is very knowledgeable, we're happy to have him on board. Caitlin Sabay, or as she says, you can say Sabah. I think I said that right. Both of our names get destroyed oftentimes, so I tried my best. Continuing on, and last but not least, Kevin Rodine. He's the one that we see every day in our tournaments. He's the one that I constantly bothered all winter long. He is on my favorites on my phone, and I'm sure I'm probably on his. He's probably called me more than I've called him, but regardless, he's the one that I've been in touch with the most, and I appreciate you and all your hard work. With that being said, I guess I'll introduce Jonathan Gold too. He's going to come up and speak a little bit later, but he is our PGA career consultant. He's got a lot of good stuff, and I'm telling you, if you're looking for jobs, if you're looking for help, if you're looking for guidance, he is the one. He is extremely knowledgeable. He'll help you with resumes, he'll help you with guidance, and I encourage everybody to reach out to him. There's a reason why he's doing what he does for us. With that being said, I am going to bring up Carl Obermeyer. He's going to say a few words. He is the assistant to our Met PGA board liaison. Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler. The emphasis is definitely on a few words. I just want to welcome everybody to the spring meeting. I may be repeating myself if you were at the other spring meeting for all the PGA pros at Old Westbury, but I've been peddling a book. It's called The Four Agreements, and I think if everyone could read that, if you haven't read it yet, if you go by these four things that it mentions in the book, it would help you out in your everyday life. The first one is to be impeccable with your word. The second one is don't take anything personally. The third one is don't make assumptions. And the last one is always try your best. If you could go by those 4 things in the upcoming golf season. I think it will help you out a lot. So on behalf of Andrew and myself, we're here for you to answer any questions. Give us a call. We'd love to help you out any way we can, and we hope you have a great 2017 golf season.
So, one thing that we worked on this winter, a couple things, we're always trying to improve, make ourselves better and what have you, but one thing that Andrew Grass and Carl brought to my attention and thought that it would be a good idea was doing mock interviews, and I can't reiterate this enough. I know in the Assistant Professional of the Year last year, they did an interview process, whereas in the past, I believe TaylorMade selected it. But this year, the board wanted to keep that going, even though we lost our sponsor. So we decided to do, or the board decided to interview that Assistant Professional of the Year. Well, I know I sat in front of probably 10, 15 board members at the front of the table, and it was a learning experience for myself. Not only do I think I absolutely destroyed that interview, but it was a great experience. And with that being said, Carl and Andrew came up with the idea, probably watching me destroy that interview, saying that we should do a mock interview process or before events. So basically what we're planning on doing is we're going to be sending out like a job description. And before a couple of events this year, you can sign up. We'll have a couple head professionals doing an interview for you, basically prepping you for that future job, a goal of yours, whatever it may be, whether it's a lead assistant job, a head professional job, whatever it may be. And we're going to change up those job descriptions. But basically, before an event, we want everybody to be prepared for an interview. You'll be dressing like you would in an interview. We'll be asking you questions like you would in an interview. We'll probably do anywhere from 2 to 4 before an event. We'll have a couple head professionals, like I mentioned earlier, whether it's a Greg Hurd or a Joe Felder or a Carl Obermeyer, it doesn't matter who it is, but we want to be able to prep those individuals for those moments when they come about. So I know I wish I would have had this before I went through my interview last year, and I can only imagine that some of you have probably had interviews before, sitting in front of one head professional, asking you a question or two, but now we're going to try to make it a little bit more real-life experience, trying to get you on your toes and a little bit nervous and asking questions that maybe you aren't prepared for and that you can prepare for in the future. So thank you for Carl and Andrew for doing that, and it's been a fun project. Moving on, I'm going to introduce Jonathan Gold.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Just want to take a brief minute to welcome all those who are newly elected PGA members in the room, and then welcome those who are new to the Metropolitan section. Real brief here, just going to keep it short and sweet. Going to piggyback on some of the conversation at our spring meeting at Old Westbury last week, is that Brian Kroll and Jeff Voorhees mentioned something that kind of stuck with me. It's about having ourselves be accountable, and then rounds and revenue being tied to that. And I couldn't agree more with what they were saying, is that somewhere along the lines, we like to take responsibility for rounds of golf. That's great until we have a bad season, right? It's unpredictable. Rounds is totally weather dependent. So I was thinking about it a little bit, and what we do best. And PGA professionals are uniquely qualified to provide others with fun golf experiences. And just a short story, was very early on in this role. I was called in to meet with an employer. An employer wanted to let their golf professional go. It's just the world we live in. They think they're business savvy, and because they play the game of golf, they're experts at golf as well. So we came in and sat down with the employer and said, what's the reason? He said, our golf professionals out here teaching all day, and they're not responsible for the golf operation. So we asked him a couple of questions, said, by the golf professional giving lessons, are they inspiring your members to play more or less golf? He said, probably more golf. So asked him the question, is he teaching 1 to 2 members or 5, or is he teaching the whole membership? He goes, no, he's teaching the whole membership. I said, okay. Now, by them receiving lessons and playing more golf, are they spending more money on the golf shop and the merchandise and the hard goods and soft goods? He said, yeah, They are. Okay. Are they spending more money on food and beverage? He said yes. I think he kind of got the sense of where we were going with this. He said, okay, if they're satisfied with the club and they're playing more golf and they're spending money on more food and beverage, are they more inclined to bring guests out to the club? He said yes. And then there's kind of the light bulb moment where he says, oh my goodness, I'm so wrong here. I need to provide opportunities for my golf professionals to be out there more often. But it's just scary that the world we live in, and then how we can hold ourselves accountable and show our value in different ways than the amount of rounds being played at the club. And just like our jobs, the opportunities that are provided to us, it's like the golf tournament we're playing today in the course. There's one winner, okay? And everyone else, even though you've done your best, there's only one selected, and then there's the next opportunity, and there's only one selected. So there's a great book, it's called The Dip, it's by Seth Golden. It really shows you the importance of trying to be the best in the world no matter what at all causes. And then do everything in your power, because if you're the best, and you see it in franchise, you see it even in golf and athletes, the gap between the best and second best is tremendous. Okay, and then you start going down the list, third, fourth, and fifth, it's an even bigger gap. So just a tip for you for that great book. And then lastly, saw this quote. It was by a 10-year-old girl, Drive Chicken Putt. I'm sure many of us have heard it, but it kind of stuck with me as well. And carried it, I don't know why, it's carried with me. She uses it out on the golf course. I think it pertains to life. She calls it the 5 and 5 rule. If it doesn't matter 5 years from now, don't spend 5 minutes on it today. I think that's pretty clever for a young 10-year-old girl to mention that. It's something that has stuck with me and felt like sharing in the room today. Want to let you know that we're here to help you whatever you need, whether it's employment, whether it's something industry related or non-industry related. The door is always open. We're over here at Golf Central for you. We're happy to come out and meet you at the club and just help you. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Tyler and thank everyone and best of luck this season.
Again, I can't reiterate it enough. Use him. He's great. So we're going to now start running through our reports. I do want to note that we had a couple changes on the board. We now have 2 positions available for those of you, I'm sure many of you know. Tyler Lauer left this club. He is here today, wherever he is, showing his face. He felt like he needed to be here today, so he is one of the reasons why we are here at Whippoorwill today, and he passed the reins off to Greg and Carrie. So thank you for getting that started, and I really appreciate that, Tyler. In addition to that, Pete Cantizero is no longer on the board, so we do have 2 positions that are opening up. Later on, we will be doing elections for both secretary and treasurer. So even if you have not applied for it yet, you can still be nominated on the floor, and that will be seconded, and you can come up and give your speech. But as of right now, I believe we have 10 to 12 involved or wanting to get involved, so that is great. I remember probably 5 years ago there was only a couple people that would run for each position, so it's great to see that people are trying to get involved. And with that being said, I do want to speak a little bit about getting involved. Every day we are trying to better ourselves, make more money, get into a better position in our life. We all have goals, whether it's a goal to play, whether it's a goal to be a better teacher, whether it's a goal to become a head professional. It's important for us to keep in mind those goals and how to attain those goals. And I can't reiterate this enough that the Met section really allows us those opportunities to accomplish those goals. With all the people that we have, with all the mentors, with all the smart brains out there, I can't reiterate it enough to get involved, whether it's the Squire Cup, PGA Hope, helping out with junior golf events, playing in events, trying to get on the board, Assistant Professional of the Year. These are all things that I want everybody to be thinking about right now, because when that Assistant Professional of the Year interview comes at the end of the year, what have you done to get onto that position? Remember that we take the applications from the Squire Cup and use those applications to look at the Assistant Professional of the Year. And it's not just board members. Obviously last year was not a board member. So don't feel like you don't have a chance against some of these people, because you do. It's just a matter of what have you done to get there. We know that Ian Orr made it last year, and he's not only involved, he plays in a lot of stuff, but he also went through the certification professional program with the PGA. So do something, find something. Even if you feel like you aren't qualified or you don't know enough people, just do it. Try to step out of your element and see if you can challenge yourself a little bit. I know standing up here in front of everybody makes me nervous, and this is a challenge for me, but this is something that I feel like I needed to do. So try to challenge yourself, try to do something a little different. Try to make that Assistants Cup that we play against New Jersey. Sign up for one of those mock interviews, just so we can keep it going. I want to see a full field with those mock interviews. I'd hate for us to have 4 spots available, but only one person sign up. So let's see if we can fill up those mock interviews, even if you feel like you are prepared. And if you do, we'll make sure to have tougher questions for you. So again, just try to get involved. Secondly, sponsors. If it wasn't for our sponsors, we wouldn't be in the place that we are with the section. We wouldn't be able to pay a lot of these people that we are paying, and we wouldn't be able to play for the money that we're playing for. So I can't say this enough, but please follow sponsors on Twitter. Send sponsors a thank you note. When we have events, please show that we are thankful for having those sponsors. A little bit later on, we'll take a minute and we'll follow a couple sponsors on Twitter, but we have a moment for that. Aside from that, another project we've been working on this winter has been starting to try to catalog ideas. Frankie had a great idea about trying to make an assistant professional handbook. I know they have a head professional handbook that John Kennedy made. It's the thickness of a textbook. Not sure we'll quite do something that elaborate, but we would like to start the process of it. And essentially, whether it's tournament ideas, formats, unique ideas that we're doing, we're going to start trying to catalog a lot of those, so it provides a good resource for us to see and to utilize in the future. But with that being said, I'm going to bring up Alex. He'll go ahead and go a little bit more into description of what he's been doing to accomplish that, and Frankie will as well. But for right now, who is now our first vice president, he will be reporting on his second vice president intro. Actually, I probably need to back up a little bit because I need to do tournaments. My apologies, I messed up. Because there's been so much flux, we're going to be reporting on all of our positions, even though there's only 3 of us. So I took the role of doing the first vice president report on tournaments. So I'll make this quick. I'm not going to really go through a lot of the winter winnings like we have in the past and what people have done over the winter and accomplishments, but please take a look inside your packet. It'll show what some of the events that people have won last year and some of the events that people have won this winter. So congratulations to everybody that did that. As we're moving on, on the main website, you'll see that we have like the scrolling bar. There's 5 categories that we always show, whether it's a spring meeting or the educational forum. We are going to start putting assistance tournaments, like a live scoring link on there. I know some head professionals have asked, if we can make something maybe a little bit more accessible. We want to put our face out there a little bit more and maybe showcase what facility we're playing. So we're going to start putting a live scoring link right on the homepage for those assistance events. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm going to touch on this, and I know Dan Kiley will a little bit later, but pace of play. This year we added hole-by-hole checkpoints of the times that we should be completing those holes. It's going to give us an idea of where we should be on the golf course. So when 2:30 rolls around and you're still on your 4th hole and you should be on whatever hole you should be on, 7, hopefully that seeing those times on your scorecards will start encouraging people to play a little bit faster. We all know that's an issue, but we all at the same time want to shoot low scores. But today's format, being a Stableford, once you make that higher than a bogey, you can just pick up. That should help with pace of play. So we're going to put a lot of these efforts into play today and see if we can keep pace with the scorecard. Continuing on, we're going to continue those event winner videos that we've done in the past. I know we really didn't do that last year, but we're going to bring that back on board. Dylan Thu kind of headed that project up when he was here. So we will now be continuing that process between the board, myself, Kevin, or if any of you who would like to help out with that, we'd be happy to have you. in terms of live scoring, it was a great success last year. We had nothing but positive feedback, so we're going to continue with that. Please just try not to be texting and stuff on your phone, checking emails. Just use it for the scoring. So again, thank you on that. And aside from that, course setup. We all know that can be a sensitive topic. We want to be able to showcase our golf course, and we don't want somebody to go out there and shoot 63 and break course records and what have you, but at the same time, we don't want to be out there for 6 hours. So for those of you that are hosting, and I thank you for those of you that are hosting this year, you can see the updated schedule in your packet. Please keep in mind course setup. Obviously, Kevin Rodine will be reaching out to you, reminding you of this, but we want to showcase the course. We are all golf professionals here, so we can handle it, but just keep in mind some of those pin placements. Try to communicate with your superintendent on where those locations are. Don't just pace them off, and his pace might be different than yours, and you might end up right on a ridge or something. So just keep those things in mind. Aside from that, now I'm going to bring up Alexander Smith. Thank you.
All right, good morning, folks. It's been a good and exciting winter, especially the last week or so, obviously with the Masters this weekend, and excuse me, Jeff having his daughter this week, and of course the Tar Heels winning the championship Monday night. So that was very cool. Anyway, hopefully you guys had a chance to pick up a operational excellence package or packet that we had outside of the table. If you didn't, you can sneak a peek at one of your neighbors. But I know the winter's kind of a hectic time for everybody. A lot of people switching jobs, switching roles, transitioning to new facilities, heading down to Florida, working, playing down there. So I tried to reach out to at least one assistant at every facility, every course. If I didn't get a chance or if I missed you, I apologize. If we didn't get a chance to connect via email, it's not too late to get in there and contribute if you'd like to contribute to the project. That would be fantastic. I'm going to try to get it online and also update it with some new additions if I know a few are outstanding that of people I've talked to. So hopefully get those updated, and if you still want to contribute as well, feel free. The conversations I did have, the conversations I did have were unbelievable and reaffirmed to me something I already kind of knew, which is that we have an incredible group of professionals, assistant professionals sitting in this room. Very talented, working hard, putting together a lot of new ideas and programs at their facilities and really adding value and growing the game. And that was very evident to me. I'll give you one small example. I don't know how many of you know Skip Marini, but he's been an assistant professional at Mohansick, and I think he's here today. But he's been an assistant professional at Mohansick Golf Club, Country Club for about 10 years now. And in talking to him, he was telling me about his junior program, and he's put together, the last 10 years he's done a junior program that's reached over 1,000 junior golfers. One of the things that he told me, a couple things really that I wanted to highlight, but one of them last year for the first time ever, his local high school, Yorktown High School, was able to field a girls golf team. And they were made up exclusively of girls who Skip introduced the game to, who came up and through his program, he taught them how to play golf. He served as a teacher and a mentor to them and a coach. And they became a little bit older as they came up through the program. And this past year, for the first time ever, they were able to start their own girls golf team. Additionally, with that, 4 of those players were able to qualify for state sectionals, go to qualifying for the state sectionals. One of the girls, who was the captain of the team, was part of a winning effort at the state championship level. So, and additionally, beyond that, actually, was something else that was really cool in talking to him. He had 7 of his former junior golfer students that have graduated high school and have gone on to pursue the PGM program at various universities across the country. So, between those two things, I mean, I was blown away. Like, if that's not growing the game and being able to share our passion and cultivate that with the young generation and the young golfers, I don't know what is. And that's stuff you can look at and point to and say, man, we are making an impact. And the really cool thing about that is I could literally, honestly speak to the 45, 50 conversations I had this winter. You know, I could go through each and every one of those and pick out things that we all are doing at our clubs, at our facilities, in the community that are really making a big impact and helping to grow the game. So when you think about education, my point of doing this whole project was really whether you're a new assistant looking to jumpstart a certain area, or whether you're an old assistant that's been around the section for a number of years and looking to breathe some new life into some of your programs. You know, we have everything we need in this room here. If we're willing to talk to each other, converse, use each other as a resource. So, you know, I encourage you to do that, whether you use the packet I put together or whether you're just having conversations with each other, you know, at different assistance events, saying, hey, you know, can I come over and watch you teach a lesson? Or, hey, you know, how do you deal with this challenge or this problem? Or hey, how are you running this tournament? We can all be better, but collectively in this room, we have everything we need to be better. So really use each other as a resource, and don't be afraid to ask questions and help each other out, because we do have some really talented, all of you guys are really talented individuals, and one of the cool things that I remember my first meeting in this room back in 2008 and feeling the fraternity, the connection, and the brother and sisterhood we all shared together. That as a newcomer, that really impressed me, and it's there, you know, and I think that more so than almost any other section of the country, it's here in this room. So let's really embrace that and use it to make each other better and make all our operations better and add value to the golf courses we work at. That said, as far as the education series we have coming up for this year, we got a really good program coming up on May 22nd at St. Andrews. We're going to do a financial workshop. So if you're looking for some help budgeting or saving some money or talking about different investments, you're looking to plan for the future, it's never too early to start doing that. We're going to put that together on Monday morning at St. Andrews, May 22nd. So it'll be about an hour-long program. We'll get you out of there in plenty of time to warm up and get ready for the big event there, the Spring Major. We're also going to try to do another head pro panel like we did last year. Some of the newer head pros in the section who have only been at their jobs for maybe a year or two, 3 years. Bring them on board and kind of ask them about the process they went through, the interview process, preparing to be a head pro, and also from the perspective of what they're looking for when they're looking to hire assistants, what they're looking for in resumes, what they're looking for in interviews, things that can help us stand out. So whether you're an older assistant looking to move to the next level as a head pro, whether you're a younger assistant looking to kind of forward and better your career, that'd be a great opportunity for you. So we're going to do that in the fall, more details about that. We're going to try to do a teaching thing too during the summer. Again, more details about that will follow. But and one other thing, I was talking to some of the guys at the Bridge about, Mike Sweeney and Eric and Addison, some of the guys out there, they were telling me that out east on Long Island, they do a really cool thing where maybe once or twice a month they get together for a little round table. And they'll order some pizzas, have some beers, and have like a little topic they talk about. So it could be anything from club face rotation in the swing to a new swing theory to a tournament program, TPV or Event Man or Golf Genius, and kind of discuss and everyone kind of contribute to the conversation a little bit and talk about what's working, what's not working, or what guys and girls think about a certain topic. So we'd like to try to do, and I've talked to Frankie about this a little bit more, we'd like to try to do maybe 4 or 5 of those in different areas of the section. So maybe one up in Upper Westchester, one in Lower Westchester, one in Connecticut, one in Nassau County, one on the Eastern Long Island, and make it pretty informal. Again, just order some pizzas, have a couple beers, sit around for about 30-40 minutes on maybe a Sunday night or a Tuesday night or something, and chat and again converse and share ideas and get to know each other a little bit better. Because I know sometimes it can be tough, and one of the things I found in talking to you guys this winter is it can be tough sometimes to do education events on Monday because obviously you have commitments with your family, with your job, with outings and everything going on at the club. So we wanted to maybe try to give you another option for education on a Sunday or Tuesday night as well. I know Frank and Chris at Westchester had mentioned they'd love to host, and a couple other you guys expressed interest as well in doing something like that. So be on the lookout for some more details. If you would like to host or would be interested in maybe having some people over for that, let one of us know, let me know, let Frankie know, and we'll provide some more details with that going forward. But again, thank you guys so much for a great winter, and looking forward to the year and the season and having some fun out there today. So, thank you. We'll bring up Frankie now.
Good morning, everyone. Before I get into the two main items I want to talk about, we're going to start with the Assistant's Handbook. I know Alex got the ball rolling with that email he sent out to you. Thanks for everyone for replying. So look out for more emails highlighting certain areas of the operation. Obviously, give us a little time to put it together. It's going to be a lot of information, but it's sort of a year-long process, but we think that's going to be helpful for everybody. First item, thank you notes. It's a great program. I know Alex put that into play. We've had great response from it. On average, about 40 to 50% of the field has wrote a thank you note. So thank you for everyone for doing that. It's not even including the ones who do it on their own. So it's a great gesture towards the club. I mean, how good is it for a member to come to the head pro and say, hey, how did the assistance event go? You know, he can show them like all these cards that he got. Keeps us in good standing. Hopefully we can get another invite back to play the course. So thank you for everyone. If anyone has any ideas to make the program possibly better, just let us know, email us. Second point, if you walked in, hopefully you grabbed one of these. It's a junior packet. We put together some good stuff. The NetPJ staff, thank you for putting that together. Junior golf fundraising, on one of the pages you can see best practices. We decided to be helpful for you to have a couple ideas to put into play. If you have any ideas that aren't on here, just let us know, we'll update it. It's something we can put out yearly. But basically, we had 14 clubs participate. I mean, I remember we almost had like 29 one year. And out of 300 clubs in the section, I think we can do a little bit better. We can improve that statistic, even though there was a great dollar amount raised. So, you know, the focus is not just on the dollar amount, but it's simply an effort to increase participation. And, you know, fundraising events is part of the NetPJ's effort to help grow the game in junior participation. So if your club has a plan to host or has plans to host, just please let us know the type of event you're doing, pro responsible for the event, and the date of the event. And you know, if there's anything that we can do to support you in your efforts in this, just please let us know. We'd be more than helpful to help. So if anybody has any ideas, please let us know. But other than that, take a look at this program, and thank you.
Just to continue what Frankie was saying, remember, if you, for every $1,000 that your facility raises, you are automatically put into the Tier 3, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kylie, Tier 3 of the Assistance Championship. So remember, just like you said, it has nothing to do with necessarily a dollar amount. We would like, our goal is to get up to 30 clubs again involved. So even if your club only donates or, you know, raises $500 or whatever it may be, so be it. Maybe for you personally, selfishly or not, you could try to raise maybe $1,000. So your Tier 3 is now covered for the Assistance Championship. You know, and if there's a couple of assistants at your club that plan on playing in the Assistance Championship, maybe make it a goal to raise $2,000 or whatever it is, or however many assistants you have. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's a good thing. Moving on, I'm going to bring up Dan Kiley, our tournament director.
Guys, welcome. Great to see everybody here. Great to see a full room. Got a perfect day to play golf this afternoon. Excited to be at Whippoorwill, so thank you to Jim Wall and his staff here. Just a few points to touch on in terms of what we worked on the tournament committee over the course of the off season. 3 points pace of play policy, the new local rule about the accidental movement of a ball on the putting green, the USGA introduced, and also a brief bit on the rules modernization everybody has heard about within the past month or so. But in terms of the pace of play policy, I know Tyler mentioned it earlier, that this year to establish some consistency and conformity across the entire section's events, the time par will be shown, hole by hole time par will be shown on Assistance Tour scorecards. For those who played in section events You'll be familiar with that on the scorecards you receive there, but that's just a step for us to create and establish a sense of awareness for you guys. I know certainly we don't expect you to check it off every hole or look at a clock or hold a watch out there and check it off every hole, but it's just to create some awareness for you so that if you do have a moment in time to check it, just to make sure you are on pace, or if we approach you, just an opportunity for you to look at it. Along those notes of awareness, the pace of play policy, which is in your packet, if you scroll through there, is present on the first tee of all section tournaments. Our first tee starters, Dave, Tommy, Kevin, myself, we will mention it as well. I know no one, in my experience, although I know no one's too excited to hear from us on the first tee, trying to get started in your round, but that will be available on the first tee and will be mentioned with us. And lastly, something we'll introduce this year, when you do finish and you come to the scoring table, we will remind you and notify you of your starting time, the time par for the round, and where you finished. That is not our attempt to single anybody out. It will be presented to every single group, but just again to establish a sense of awareness and to let you know where you stand, if you played fast that day, if you played slow that day. Certainly understand a lot goes into that during a round, but we just want to create an awareness. Again, we are not, just to emphasize, we are not out there to penalize you. I do not get excited when somebody radios me and tells me Tyler Jaramillo's a hole and a half behind. I'm not excited. Doesn't happen often, but I'm not excited. I don't jump in a cart right out there and run up to Tyler and tell him that. We don't want to interrupt your round. We understand you're grinding. We understand you're working hard for a score. So please, our last bit is to encourage you guys to take it upon yourself to help yourselves out. We certainly don't want to interrupt you. I definitely know you guys don't like us interrupting you. Certainly know that. I've heard that on more than a rare occasion. But again, just a few points. If it's a walking tournament, please send your caddies out to 4 caddy when teeing off. Again, I know you guys get mad when members don't do it, but it helps tremendously. If your caddy's out there, 4 caddy, and knows where your ball's landed, he gets to your ball, he starts taking the yardage, he has some information by the time you show up, and we can continue playing the hole. Secondly, if you're playing threesome, foursome, if it is not your turn to play, you have your moments where you walk down the fairway, you're talking to your fellow competitor, but when you get up to your ball, if it's not your turn to play and you're far enough away from the individual who is playing, start your pre-shot routine a bit. Take your yardage, talk with your caddy about what club you have. If you have played, and again, Alex is on the other side of the fairway, you see it in the Masters, walk up the left side of the fairway, keep that pace of the hole so that you get into a rhythm. Again, you don't have to see me riding up in a cart beelining for you. All right, just a few things you guys can take for yourselves so that I don't come out and annoy you. If you'll see, just the last bit on pace of play, in the packet there's a highlighted note. A small change we're going to do this year in terms of if a group, for instance, if we come up to you and you say, hey, you're a little bit behind here, did anything happen over the previous few holes when you reach a checkpoint? And you tell us, we lost a few balls, we'll pick it up. Great. If there is no observable or noticeable reason for you to be behind, other than you guys are just playing too slowly, we're going to put you on the clock immediately. So there won't be a warning. If you do lose a ball, or we know you struggled, or you have a ruling, we'll give you some leeway. We'll give you a warning and ask you to pick it up and get back on pace in the next 2 or 3 holes. If there is no evidence of that, please understand we will put you on the clock immediately. Don't worry, I fully anticipate getting yelled at and cursed at for that. All right? Totally understand. I won't take it personally. On to the rules. New local rule, accidental movement of a ball on the putting green, the Dustin Johnson rule from the US Open. We have adopted this in all Met PGA tournaments. That's today, that's throughout the season. It is on the hard card, which I'm sure all of you greatly picked up outside there with such enthusiasm, but it is on the registration desk. It is on our hard card. Just a quick explanation of that. When your ball or player's ball lies on the putting green, there is no penalty if that ball or ball marker is accidentally moved by the player, his partner, his caddy, or either of their, or his opponent, or their pieces of equipment. Okay, in the past, you were penalized 1 stroke. Now that penalty is no longer, and you'll just be able to replace the ball if it was deemed to be accidental movement. The exception does remain for wind, water, or gravity. If those 3 agencies cause the ball to move, you will play the ball from where it then comes to rest. Okay? Again, it's in the hard card. We'll have something on the tee box, first tee, 10th tee of every tournament, but that local rule has been adopted in all competitions. So please, if your ball moves on the putting green, again, this is only if your ball is on the putting green, if your ball moves, make sure, take a minute. If there's a rules official around, wave us over. If not, and you're unsure, play 2 balls, 3-3. Notify us afterward, come talk to us, and we'll discuss the situation, okay? But if you're leaning down there, you throw your ball marker at the ball, accidentally hits it, inches a little forward, that is no longer a penalty, all right? I'm sure many of you are excited about that. Lastly, the rules modernization that just came out this past month. Very exciting. Obviously, I know a lot of us are anticipating those rules. Happy that many of them have come into play. Hopefully they'll improve pace. Will certainly make things a little more easier to understand. That said, they do not come into effect until 2019. So if you hit a ball in the hazard, don't bend down to 1 inch and drop the ball, okay? Those rules do not come into effect until 2019. We'll drill that into you every tournament. Our fear is that you've read them in a moment of despair out on the course in the second round of the New York State Open, somebody pays attention to a rule that is not in effect yet. All right, so we're playing by the rules of 2017. Okay? That's it for me. Jeff apologizes again that he can't make it here. Congratulations to him on his baby, their 2nd daughter. He's excited about that, but wants a boy at some point. But thanks again, guys. Excited for the season, and I'm going to bring up Caitlin to talk about player development.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to make this short and sweet. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Caitlin Sabay. I run the Junior League. For those captains who have registered, you should be finalizing your schedule now. And slowly getting your players to register. I know it's been a pain this year, but if you do need a walkthrough, just let me know. I can personalize it for your facility and include your facility password. Just a reminder, it does take 2 weeks to get your team kits out, so please let me know when you need them by so we can get them to you in a timely manner. You will need 8 players registered, so make sure that that happens as well. If anyone's interested, please let me know today because we have announced leagues, but I can probably make it work and squeeze you guys in. And one thing that we are trying to stress is our junior golf roadmap. For those of you who picked it up, it was one of the packets that was in the front, and it's this last page. We're really encouraging how the children participate. So if they're playing in junior league golf and they're playing in drive, chip, and putt, tell them to go out and try the junior tour, either doing the 9-hole events, 18-hole, and you can share this with them. Copies are up there, or you can ask Dan Frankel or I, and we can email it to you. You can post it in your pro shop. And this is a perfect segue. So I'm going to try and find Dan Frankel, if he would like to come up.
I like making an entrance. Good morning, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Dan Frankel. I'm Junior Golf Director for the Met Section. It's an honor to speak before you today. Just a couple of mundane things to go over with you real quickly. Make sure that you guys all encourage all of your junior students to play on our junior tour this year. We have a really good lineup of events, and you guys always do such a tremendous job being our greatest advocates and getting all of our members. With Junior League being the hot commodity it's been over the last couple of years, our membership looks like for the Junior Tour, it'll be growing over the next couple of years, which is very exciting. You don't hear that everywhere throughout the country, so we're certainly very fortunate to be in the Met section where golf isn't only thriving, it's growing. Just wanted to go over a couple other things. As you guys know, we rely so heavily on our assistant professionals for junior golf fundraisers. We keep our prices as affordable as possible because we want to make sure that everyone who wants to play on the junior tour has access to it. And because of the incredible support by quite a few of our assistants, some of which are in the room now, some are not, you guys are so kind to do fundraisers for us. But I know you hear this each and every year, but I have to stress it again. We get so much money from so few clubs. And even if your club does a fundraiser and is able to raise $100, well, that helps a junior golfer get into about 3 tournaments for the year. So no matter how big the donation or how small, it's greatly appreciated and it can make a huge difference in someone's life. So don't think that just because you see big numbers of certain clubs raising upwards of $10,000, $20,000 that you need to do that much. You certainly don't. A donation as small as $50 from the club, it's a way of being involved and it's a way of showing support for junior golf. Lastly, a lot of you know this, but I recently got back from a little trip to a golf course you guys may have heard of called Augusta National. I was down there for the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals last weekend, and it was such an amazing experience. But one of the things that I thought was most fascinating about it, I could, later on, whoever wants to come sit around the bar, I'll tell you the real fun stories from being down there. But something that I was so touched by is that just about each and every one of the 80 participants down there brought their golf professional with them to be a part of their family and to be a part of that experience. And it just showed me that all of you have the capability to make such a strong difference in these kids' lives, whether it's just teaching them, whether you hang out with them, mentor them. You have such an incredible power in your hands beyond just teaching them to be great golfers, to be great people. And that's why so many assistant golf professionals especially were down there. One of our section members, Megan Padua, I saw her down there with 2 of her kids. I don't believe either of the kids were from the section, but it was pretty touching. I was right there before I was going to go on, and I was with one of her girls, and she goes to give him a big high five, and the girl turned around and gave her a big hug and said, "Thank you for everything you've done for me." And it was just, I saw that moment, and it was really special, and each and every one of you have the ability to do that for someone. And whether it's at Augusta National, whether it's at Whippoorwill, whether it's at Bethpage, it doesn't matter. Just remember, when you're working with your students and put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to be a mentor for them and make a difference for someone else. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great season. And without further ado, the queen of the Met PGA, Kelly Clayton.
Yes, that is correct. Okay, guys, well, welcome to the season. Good to see so many of you out here today. You guys got an excellent day. We're very jealous. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Queen Kelly Clayton. I'm the Director of Operations for the Met section. And I wear many hats for the section, but things that are directly related to those of you sitting in this room today would be anything that you need with your membership, I'm the one to come to. If you have employment changes, if you are in the off season and you're looking for a new position and you want to put your resume on a resume listing that's available to all our head professionals, get that to me. MSR requirements, I'm the one to come to if you're running anything at your club that we might not know about, that you do get credits for, so you're going to report those to me as well. And a big part of my position is overseeing the foundation, and I want to just say how proud I am of Dan Frankel for the Junior Tour and Caitlin for doing all the stuff that she's doing with Draft, Chip, and Putt and Junior League. Let's give them another round of applause. My message is simple, and I think you've heard that echoed kind of throughout the theme of the day, and that is to get involved. I've been here for 17 years, and I can't tell you the guys that have been most successful are those that have been involved, got their name known, and figured out a way to get themselves separated from the pack. You can't succeed by being good. That's what you guys get paid to do. You can't succeed by being excellent because that's what your employer is expecting of you. The only way to succeed in this business is to be outstanding. So I challenge all of you in this room to be outstanding this year in a way and find new ways to do that. That can be playing in events, whether that's assistance events, pro-ams, or just going out and playing with your members and getting to know them a little better. Take interest in your members' lives. You know, don't sit in the golf shop and wait for them to come to you. Go out, walk the range, get to know them on a personal level, become more relevant to them. We all know the number one way to a member's heart is through their kids. And you just heard all the programs we have available in the section for you to get involved with. So are you doing a junior league team? Are you utilizing lessons that you can wrap around the drive, chip, and putt competitions that we run? You know, run a clinic on a Saturday for 20 kids and show them how to be successful and just hitting 3 drives, 3 chips, and 3 putts, and use that and make yourself more valuable to your members. And of course, encourage your kids to play on the junior tour. Follow the kids on the junior tour. Promote that at your club. I mean, how many of you in this room have kids that play on the junior tour, and how many of your members, you know, are aware that they're actually playing? Put up their results in the locker rooms. Spread the word. Take ownership of the foundation, because guys, it's not our foundation. It's your foundation. And you guys really need to start thinking that way, because we're doing a lot of good things, and you guys can benefit from that if you just spread the word correctly. Another way is education. We have so many opportunities in this section for education. Example, tomorrow. If you're not signed up for the educational forum tomorrow with Mike Bentley and Phil Kenyon at the Broadway Theater, you should be. We're still taking registrations today, so if you want to sign up, see one of us before you leave. But we'll also be honoring Charlie Robson tomorrow with the Sam Snead Award, which is the highest honor we bestow here in the Met section. We'll also be recognizing Brad Worthington for Professional of the Year and Rob Britz for Player of the Year. So if you're not signed up for that, I would encourage you to do so. Dan spoke about fundraising. Again, it's not really for us, it's more for let us do more for you to promote what the PGA member is about and what you guys give back to the community. The more money we raise, the more we can do. The better we can make you look, but we need your help to do that. So get out, do the fundraisers, and be involved with that as well. And my last message would be for PGA Hope. First of all, anyone that taught in PGA Hope the last couple of years, would you please stand? Guys, take a look around, and these are the individuals I want you to talk to learn about PGA Hope and learn about the changes made in their lives. Thank you guys. Can we give them a round of applause for their What we're doing with PGA Hope is I don't look at it as we're teaching these guys golf. We're saving lives. We've had a number of veterans that have come back through our program and just say, thank you for giving me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, get out of my house, and feel like a normal person again. So we are doing great things. The ways you guys can get involved with PGA Hope, number one, we are having a training program on April 20th. That's at Mosholu. You do not need to be certified to come teach at PGA Hope. So don't feel like if you can't make the training, you can't teach. I'm going to be emailing all the pros today with all of the dates that we have available. If you can make one session, that's great. If you can make all 6, that's wonderful too. Just come once and I guarantee you'll get hooked. Another thing to be aware of is we are going to be doing a campaign wrapped around Memorial Day this year called Give a Veteran Hope. Some of you that were at the spring meeting got to see the video. Those of you that did not see it, you will see it today because it'll be linked in your email that goes out with all the information. Please help us support this cause. The idea behind it is it costs us about $300 to take a veteran from start to finish through our entire program. They get 6 weeks of training, and then they get a set of golf clubs when they graduate, and then they get invited back to play in our military league for the summer. So it's a small little donation to many, but it will change lives. So please support that as best you can. That being said, I just want to again wish you guys all a great season, and please go be outstanding this year. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Kevin Rodine.
So this is literally my least favorite thing in the world to do is talk to a group. I hated talking to group clinics. I love grabbing someone by their shirt and yelling at them if I had to on individual lessons, but talk to a group wasn't my favorite thing. I want to thank all of you for participating today. I want to thank all of you that participated in the assistant tour events. Without you participating, I might be in one of your jobs still. So, we need that. I'd like to welcome all the new assistants to the section. Dan and I work out of the same office space, and I was talking, we lost some guys who I thought were pretty good players to other sections, other jobs, head pro jobs. And then I looked at some of the new names coming in, and I found out we replaced them pretty quickly. So I think it's a med section thing. You know, if you play good, it's a great place to be. I need to thank Dan Kiley and Jeff Voorhees most. They taught me how to do my job. They allowed me to learn it, and in the end, they bailed me out every time I needed it. Kelly, Caitlin, Dan, and Paul, I don't think you realize how much they do to help you with the assistance events, because I go to them for what I need to help it happen. So I need to thank them. The current board I want to thank. They've worked this winter. They've had a lot of changes. A lot of them had multiple different titles over the winter. And I really want to thank, and I never use names, but I'm going to use a name, Dennis Dungy, for getting me through my first season. He gave me lots of heads up. I still whiffed on some of the stuff, but it wasn't because I didn't know. He got me through it. I'd also like to say I turned professional in 1988. Probably been a professional longer than a lot of you have been alive. Probably have older than a lot of your parents. And when I came into this, the best thing that happened last year was seeing how good the assistants really are in this section. You don't know as you get older, and my guys are all the older guys, kind of how good you guys are, and I appreciate for how good you are. I think we need to get better still, and we'll figure out ways to do that. I'm going to say a lot of things that aren't very popular here, but everybody in this room is going to wake up one day, and if they realize it or not, they're going to find out their future is behind them. Okay? It happened to me. There comes a day in our life where all of a sudden we look up and it's the rest of our life, but our future is behind us. And I would encourage you to look at the person next to you, and if they play better, try to be like them. If they present themselves better, try to be like them. I can get on all kinds of rants about shaving and you need to wear slacks, and I hate doing both of them. I'd wear shorts every day if it was up to me, and I would never shave. But it's some of the things we need to do as to represent ourselves as professionals. I will tell you, if you haven't done a PGA Hope, the ones that have do save lives, and the ones that haven't, you're the ones that are losing, because you will get more out of it than the lives you save, trust me. Kind of could be a life-changing thing for you, okay? I believe everything we do is a choice. I don't believe in accidents, okay? The players that play the best, I don't think they just got in a car wreck and ended up the best players. It was an accident. The guys who are leading us on the board, I don't believe it's an accident. Everything we do is a tiebreaker. Everything you do better than the next guy when it comes down to the job interview, be it for second assistant, first assistant, head pro, everything you do better than the person next to you, you win that tiebreaker. It'd be good if you did all those things better. It's a lot easier to get there, I believe. Career assistant wasn't supposed to be a head professional. You know, I was glad the day I figured that out. You know, went through all the process, worked a lot of nice places. Everybody I worked for was a PGA poster boy. They've all been great to me, and they've all been hard on me, and they all made me better. But some of us are supposed to be, and some of us aren't. So, you know, that's one of those days when you realize where you need to go in the business. Beyond that, the stuff that really matters. If you've had any changes of address or anything like that, please shoot me an email so we can make sure your Blue Golf is updated. The new members, I need address, Social Security also added to Blue Golf, and I would suggest everybody do the direct deposit. It is by far the fastest way to get what you have coming to you. If not, having an address, your check to go to whatever address that is, and it's going to take 2 weeks longer to get it. Sponsor acknowledgement. You know, when I was assistant, I never really realized what the sponsors did for us. And then I realized that the sponsor money goes to everything, and although on a Monday we're playing for basically our own money as assistants, all the things that our office can do comes down to what the sponsors put into it for us, and allow us to function, I think, at a pretty high level. I'm nuts about thank you notes. I think what we do is great where everybody signs them. If you want to win another tiebreaker, you might want to put a stamp on an envelope with a thank you note from you. Because I promise you, those people will see those as a tiebreaker. All thank you notes, this thank you note means more to me. I send them to everybody that hosts, myself, and that's more because if I'm going to preach the sermon, I think I at least try to walk the walk. Things I'm going to ask you to do at events. There's always things that happen where there's whole locations that probably aren't ideal, maybe even worse than not ideal. Please don't voice those publicly. When you go to a club and your members are included, there's the top 100 in the United States. I've been lucky. I've worked at probably 5 of them. But at your club, the list actually is Augusta National, Pine Valley, and your members club is always 3rd on that list to them. So, and hopefully it's 3rd on that list to you people working there. But remember, when we come in, we've had a bad day, and we've maybe had a little bit of a hockey game on one of the greens. It's great to come to us and say something, but we don't need our hosts hearing these things. They've been gracious enough to put the day on for us, and stuff happens. So let's try to keep our negative comments as small as possible and in as small a group as possible, and we'll address them and try to get better at those things. Beyond that, we do have an election we need to do. So I have all kinds of funny stories I can tell you, or at least, funny to me. But I'd like to get started, and we'll do the election. And, actually, we'll do Pete Ballow's award. I apologize, Dan. And then after that, we'll do the election. And if there's some time to talk about some other things we need, when we have open forum and you have questions, please ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask it. It may have been asked before. Maybe it's something we can't do. But I'd like to hand this over to Dan Kiley, our tournament director. He's our surrogate Jeff Voorhees today, so he's going to do the Player of the Year.
I'm sure to Kevin's chagrin, I'm one of those individuals who was born after he became a pro. 2016 Assistant Player of the Year. As Kevin mentioned, Old Oaks assistant professional PGA apprentice Pete Ballow. It was an incredible season. His list of, I was working over the winter. We were working over the winter on putting this program together, and we looked up Pete's results and statistics from last season, and I'm going to read them off. It shocked me for a little bit. He had, on the Assistants Tour, he played in 12 events. Pete won 3 times. The opening event, the Assistants Spring Meeting at Old Oaks, the Assistants Tour event at Wacabuck, and the Assistants Tour event at Silvermine. Great season, put 3 wins together, not often done. In those 12 events, he finished in the top 5 10 times, which, as we know in our section with fields between 70 and 90 players, is an incredible achievement. The other 2 events, his 11th, he finished T9th. His 12th, I'm embarrassed to say, he finished T35. He doesn't want to talk about that either. Outside of the Assistants Tour, he played in 6 events. New York State Open, he finished tied for 3rd. The Met Open, he finished tied for 3rd. The Westchester Open, he finished 3rd. Pete, you can finish in another place, by the way. The Connecticut Open, he finished tied for 8th. And the National Assistants Championship, he finished tied for 19th. The most amazing part of his win, and the most deserving part of his award, as I mentioned, he's a PGA apprentice. For those perhaps unfamiliar, or maybe it has not sunk in with, that rules him ineligible to play in the Westchester PGA Championship, the Metropolitan Professional Championship, and the Met PGA Championship. So Pete won the Assistants Tour Player of the Year without accruing any points in those 3 events. I don't believe, ever done before. Just a testament to Pete, your playing ability. last year. We're very excited about it moving forward, and I'm sure everyone in the room is hoping you remain an apprentice for more years than not. But Pete, come on up. Congratulations. Here's the new vet. Read off the plaque for you. The Metropolitan Section of the Professional Golfers Association of America presents to Pete Ballo 2016 Assistant Player of the Year for outstanding play throughout the past year and in representing PGA professionals with distinction in the competition.
Congrats, Pete.
I'm going to keep this short and sweet for everyone so we can get this going, so we can go all cram up on the putting green while we warm up. It's an incredible honor to be up here accepting this award. So many of you and guys that I've looked up to for years have been in this position, and it's an honor to me to be able to be considered in the same sentence and on the same award as these guys. I would like to first off thank Nick Maselli for hiring me at Old Oaks. I was a kid who had no work experience, was actually coaching hockey, and he went out on a limb for me. And I really appreciate it because it made me be a part of this family here of all of you. And it's been great getting to know every single one of you and playing with all of you every week. It's an honor to say that I get to be friends with all of these guys and get to compete with you guys. Would also like to thank John DiPilato, Bobby Hines, retired head pro now, son Teddy's in the section now, and Pat Egling. They've always been there for me. Any questions I've had on golf tips or something with the operations, being a new kid to the section, they've always been there to help me, and really appreciate it. Would like to thank all the guys in the section office. Dan, Jeff, Kelly, Dan, Paul, Katie. You guys do such a great job for us. You guys put on such great events every week. You try and get some really high-end, nice golf course for us to play at, and we all really appreciate everything that you guys have done for us every week. I would like to thank Stuart Wack, who showed up. He's my swing coach. He's been my swing coach for about 10 years now. Thank you for helping me through the process. He's a big part of why I got the job that I have and become somewhat of the apprentice that I'm trying to look forward to and become Class A's like most of you guys here. And I'd also like to thank my dad for coming. It's pretty special that he's here for me. Very humble for this. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to the 2017 season.
Congrats again, Pete. Great playing.
Good job.
Mr. Bowell, thank you for coming. Stuart, thank you for coming. Mike, I'm sure you just want to win 2017 over him, so thanks for coming as well. We are going to move on to the election. I'll be honored as your MC here. Again, just to explain why we have an election in the spring meeting after having one in the fall. The Constitution stipulates that after the board is elected in the fall meeting, if any of those 5 individuals earns a head pro position or moves out of the section, the elected officers will each move up a seat, and the vacated seats will be up for election in the following spring meeting. That happened this past winter. Pete Catanzaro, to my latest knowledge, may be leaving the business and has left the section. And Tyler Lauer, I know he's excited about it, took a job at Sand Valley out in Wisconsin. He's heading back home. A little upset you're not wearing your hat right now, but Tyler, thank you for helping serve the section. We're going to miss you out there this year and in the section as well. So good luck out in Wisconsin. We do have, for those who've looked online, very excited to see the energy and those who have volunteered to run for election. We have 11 individuals interested in one of the 2 positions. 9 individuals pre-submitted applications for both treasurer and secretary. 2 individuals submitted applications for just the secretary. I know that sounds like a lot. Each of them will be given the opportunity to speak for a couple minutes. I do ask those 11 individuals to keep it as brief as possible. It can run long. I know it takes a while. Appreciate everybody's patience. We're going to work through this as quickly and efficiently as we can, while affording those 11 individuals the opportunity and the appropriate amount of time to put forth their message. We're going to go in alphabetical order here, but again, just a few minutes from each. We'll read off the names after we've finished. And afterward, after those who have spoken are finished, before we run the election, if anybody in the room would like to propose anyone for the slate from the floor, you may do so as well. I'll remind you of that afterward. But we'll begin with Nick Banks. So Nick, come on up.
Hi everyone, how you doing? I'm Nick Banks, Lester Beard, so just in case you didn't recognize me. I'm going to be running from the Treasurer and Secretary position today. As a teacher, I hold many of the assets that can complement the Assistance Board. I listen, I work on bettering a situation from what I see and what I hear, and I follow up and maintain those situations I've improved. The Treasurer role is responsible for junior golf. In 2016, my first year at St. George's, we emphasized junior golf. It wasn't very well attended in the past at the club, so we scheduled junior camps, we formed junior clubs, and we participated in PGA Junior League. Teaching and being involved was our main focus. We ultimately won the Suffolk County Championship, we won the Metropolitan All-Star Championship, and we reached the regionals in Cape Cod representing the Met section. And this shows you what being involved can do. I plan on bringing this involvement to the Treasurer, offering clinics surrounding assistance events just like today, or on designated days throughout the year to showcase what great assistance we have in this room. I would also like to see junior-specific teaching on the Met website on the Met section. The Secretary role, so just change the subject, is responsible for thank you notes. A thank you note should be sincere and an introduction to oneself, showcasing gratitude. I'm in favour of thank you notes and continuing from what Alex Smith has started here, and I think they're great, and I think everyone reflects that. However, I'm against writing a thank you note for the sake of it. Hosting clubs and their head professionals provide us with pristine venues. What I would like to introduce is to give the assistant the option of a thank you note and continue in doing that, which we will provide thank you notes, but also giving the email addresses of those hosting professionals and managers and superintendents. Please keep in mind these individuals gave up their time, the facility, and their potential employers. In my opinion, both options can forge relationships, but an email in this day and age may hold a stronger voice. It gives you time to reflect on why we should be grateful for their hospitality and a chance to introduce yourself. In certain instances, it can be seen as a pre-interview, and I think someone already mentioned that today. To close, I hope my passion and integrity through my time spent in the game can evoke your trust. I'll have your back, you'll have my time when you need it, and I'd like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Next up, Gabe Carr-Harris. And again, these 9 are running for both Treasurer and Secretary. They will speak to you for both positions. We'll hold an election for Treasurer after the 9 speak.
Thanks, Dan. All right, good morning, everyone. It's great to see everyone in the room. Welcome all new professionals that are entering this section. Hopefully some of you guys blocked your books off and watched the golf yesterday, because that was a great way to start the season. So I will also make this pretty quick. I'm entering my 3rd season at Greenwich Country Club as a first assistant professional. Prior to that, I was at Stonington Country Club for 5 seasons. And even before that, I was at a club that doesn't exist anymore called Delwood Country Club. It's now Paramount Country Club. So I've been around here for a long time. I love being part of this very active section. Some of the ways that I've been involved, last year I was very fortunate to be part of PGA Hope with Kelly Clayton and the wonderful staff that puts that on. And I'll echo, if you haven't been part of that, please do it once this year. There's a great training coming up in about 10 days or so that's a great chance for us all to give back. More recently, I was able to help out with the section at the North Coast Golf Show and give some early spring lessons to some of the attendees there. It was great to see all those guys excited. It was kind of like a miniature PGA show. So also did a presentation after that, which was pretty cool. So I'm always looking to get involved as much as I can. I have some great ideas for mentoring young assistants that are entering this section out of school and college, and refining why we're the best section in the country, and also helping out with pace of play and some of these Monday events that we play. We have great support, but I think we all want to play a little bit quicker in these events, so I do have some great ideas. Hopefully you guys will give me a shot at doing either the secretary or the treasurer position, and I look forward to a great 2017, and best of luck to everyone in the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabe. And next, Sarah Dixon. We'll keep the train moving.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, everybody. I will also keep this very short and sweet. Don't want to get a slow play penalty before getting on the course. For those who don't know me, I'm Sarah. This is my 6th year, or starting my 6th year in the Met section, and 2nd at Quaker Ridge. A couple quick examples of my involvement include PJ Hope, both up here and down in Florida in the winter. That's a great program for those of you who have not done it. I also have been on a Squire Cup team, and I currently serve on 2 of the big or section committees, the tournament committee and the education committee. And why I'm so excited to run for the assistance board is because I've certainly acquired a network through those things, and I learned a few things about how committees can work best. In terms of secretary, I think Nick and Kevin both touched on the importance of handwritten thank you notes. I know I was on Alex's committee to administer those on Mondays. And then something that I picked up on during the section meeting and today here is a way to thank our sponsors, and obviously also head pros and courses, is also through social media. I think some of you have seen the power of that, and so part of the thing that I would do is reach out to the courses, make sure that if they do have a social media presence that we know about it. The power of a retweet can go a long way, and if let's say that we play here today, we thank Whippoorwill on Twitter, Whippoorwill retweets it, their members see it, they're like, oh wow, those assistants really did appreciate us giving up our course for the day. So kind of a social media presence as well as everything we've been doing. And then treasurer, I've spoken with Dan Frankel a little bit about how to help us fundraise for junior golf. The things that you see listed in your packet are all very feasible, but I would be here to make them even easier and help you administer that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Next, Chris Dowling.
Good morning, everybody. For those of you that don't know, my name is Chris Dowling. I'm an assistant pro at the Z-Wing Club. I've been in the Met section for the last 3 years. Prior to that, I worked for our honorary PGA of America president, Derek Sprague, in Malone, New York. If anybody's heard of that, I'd be surprised. It's far north as you can get in New York. It's in basically 5 miles shy of Canada. So it's pretty cold up there. They have a short season. But as for my experience volunteering and how I'd love to get involved, ever since I've been went to SUNY Delhi, I volunteered to help teach the junior females from the first tee of Metropolitan Section. I also started, or was responsible of starting, a golf in schools program there, where we began with 4 clubs in Delaware County, New York, which does not play golf. And we, by the time I graduated, switched it to 12, or bumped it up to 12 clubs. And lastly, I have also been involved with PJ Hope. That was, you're going to hear it being repeated all day, but that was the best program I've ever been involved with. The guys are the best. You're going to laugh so hard. I really hope that all of you, if you can go to just one, it would be great. They are the best people you can meet. So for today, I am extremely interested in serving you as your treasurer or secretary. I wanted to take the opportunity, because we're all in this room right now, to make these cards. If you can please look at the middle of your tables, you'll see that there are these yellow, manila colored place cards. I'd like to go over them with you right now. Basically, not to be repetitive of everybody saying that we should get more involved, but as you look at the packet that they passed out this morning, only 16 clubs participated to donate to Metropolitan Golf, or PGA Junior Golf last year. On average, as the card will show you, 24 clubs donate every year. You can see these are statistics that I thank Dan Frankel, wherever he is, for giving me these statistics so I can share them with you. The number has dropped basically every year for the last 5 years. So how do I expect and hopefully can achieve this number to go back up? 7 of the 24 clubs that on average donate have donated every year. So within the last 5 years, 52 total different clubs have donated, but only 7 have done it every single year. So I hope to reach out to those 45 at first, but also to see if you guys can fundraise at your club, to give you help and aid on ideas on how you can fundraise more and more and more. And some great ideas are on this sheet that we received today. And for example, we did the longest day of golf and pro putting at Seawind, and it's great. You just get the membership to agree and sign up as we would always put up a board, and we get at least 100 people. They commit to donating what you raise that day. If you do $2 a putt for 25 footers, if you do $2 a par when you do a golf marathon. But what was nice and what would help to get maybe a little more participation would be we combine that fundraiser with another type of charity that was well deserving. So, for example, my first year at Seawind, we had a member pass from cerebral palsy. We donated half of the funds we raised from that day to cerebral palsy and the other half to the Metropolitan PGA Junior Golf. Last year we had a caddy that developed Crohn's disease. We donated half to the Crohn's Disease Foundation, half to Metropolitan PGA Junior Golf. So there's a way to get, if it doesn't seem appealing to them, which I don't know why it wouldn't, to donate to junior golf, you can link it with another organization, if that makes sense. So I'd like to conclude with basically taking a quote that John said today, that 10-year-old that said 5 minutes, that if you spend 5 minutes a day, it needs to be important 5 years from now. I love that we're spending at least 30 minutes today, because juniors are the future. So if you can spend 30 minutes a day for us to figure out a way to donate more to them, the future we can hopefully get more play and more funds for them, if that makes sense. Once again, I said if that makes sense. I thank you. I hope that if I do not become elected, whoever you choose for this position is more than willing to take these cards. I'd love them to they're used to be able to help. So if you could please fill them out. If you cannot fundraise at your club, and that is an instant, I will not reach you. Don't worry about it. Your email is not getting touched. Okay? Thank you so much.
Next, Dominic Ebert.
Good morning, my name is Dominic Ebert, and I will be running for the treasurer and secretary positions. I currently work at the Country Club of Fairfield, entering my 3rd season. Before I get started, I would like to thank the general manager, Jeffrey Martocci, and the head golf professional, Jim Wall, for hosting us today. There are many reasons I'm running for the board. I'll only name a couple because I know you guys have lunch right here behind me, and golf's going to be played. First, I'm forever grateful for what the section has done for me, making me become the assistant golf professional I've become today. And I want to volunteer my time to give back to them. Also, and most important, I feel like I can be a great asset to the other assistants. It has always been a great passion of mine to help my other colleagues as much as possible. My goals are to keep an open line of communication from the assistants to the section, continue to think of and execute new ideas, and be readily available to anyone that may need my help. This is a great opportunity, and I'm very excited to help the section, assistants, and community any way I can. Thank you.
Next is Matt Hurd.
Just brought my information packet with me for some reason here. My name is Matt Hurd. I feel like I know most of you guys probably from planning events and whatnot. This is my 31st year here in the Met section. I am 31 years old. My dad grew up here at Whippoorwill. Met my mom at the snack bar. She worked here. And then he went on to become the president. I grew up playing the Met Junior Tour. I grew up watching my dad be the president and help the section. And I would love to help him. I'm willing to take either position because I feel like it's just a matter of getting up there and giving your time and doing the right thing for everybody. I'd love to continue helping Alex with the thank you notes. I think Alex has stock at Hallmark, to be honest with you. That's why we do so many of those. But anyways, regardless of getting elected or not, my name is on the section there with my email and my phone number. So please, anybody, reach out anytime. I would love to help anybody I can. Whoever gets this position, I'm sure will do a great job. I would hope to give my time. Anyways, thank you all very much. Have a great season and play well today.
Next is Ian Orr. Ian unfortunately could not make it this morning, but he asked his colleague and friend Kevin Austerlechner to speak on his behalf. Settle down, Tyler.
Good morning. Obviously, I'm not Ian Orr, much better looking. But first of all, my name is Kevin Austerlechner. I do have the privilege of speaking on Ian's behalf for the assistant board nomination. When he asked me to speak, I first thought this is a great decision on his part. And then I said, well, unless he doesn't win, then it was a really bad decision. So we'll see how that works. I've known Ian since he started in this section. He's an active certified PGA professional. He gives back all of his time, whether it's volunteering for PGA Hope, junior golf fundraising, or serving on committees. His contributions and willingness to this section is a benefit to our association as a whole. I really think that, his confidence, his dedication, and his professionalism can be a real asset to the assistant board. So please take a chance to vote for him for any of the positions, treasurer or secretary. Thank you.
Remember, the vote is for Ian Orr, not Kevin.
Yeah, not for me.
Next, Dan Spizzato.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for the privilege of speaking here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Dan Spizzato. This is my 12th year in the Met section. Currently, I'm the first assistant at the Mill River Club on Long Island. My 4th year there. Last few years, I wanted to get involved a little bit more. So trying to, one for the board. A lot of you guys I've got to know over the last 10 or 12 years or so, and what we have here in this section is a bunch of people that are willing to help each other and make each other better. And I wouldn't be up here if it was a lot for most of you. So I know 10 years ago I sat at my first assistants meeting, and I was kind of terrified. I mean, it was pretty intense. And I remember thinking, maybe I wasn't good enough to be in this room. I mean, that's kind of my own issues. I struggled passing the PAT. I think it took me 116 times. Kind of like Sergio trying to win a major. So the point is, I think it's very easy as a young professional to feel overwhelmed, in their first year, a couple of years here. There's a lot of really big names in the Met section who've done a lot of pretty incredible things on and off the golf course. So one thing I'd like to do if I'm elected is kind of be able to be in a position to give back in that way and help anyone, maybe struggling to get through their book work or struggling in any aspect of the business. So thank you very much, and everyone have a good time today. Thanks.
Next up is Ryan Zachary.
Coming in the 9 hole. Thank you, everybody. Like my drives, I'll try to keep this short, hopefully a little straight. Many of the staff mentioned before, it's not good enough as an assistant just to be good enough. You want to exceed. My idea for the website is to create a section that I call Assistant Spotlight. It's for the folks who exceed, who excel in different areas, not just the areas of finishing in the assistance event, top 3 each time. It's participating in PGA Hope. It's having a junior who's gone to their county finals the last 3 years. Whether you're new to this section and you've had a great resume already and want to point it out, or if you've been in this section already and no one knows of the things that you do off the golf course and the things you've created. Could even be merchandising in the shop and you've helped your head pro bring in an extra 20% of revenue. All these things would be fantastic to promote on the website so that other assistants see it and head pros see it as well. So again, it's Assistant Spotlight, and I'm looking forward to get that started. My name is Ryan Zachary. Thanks.
That is 9. Caitlin, Dan, and Kelly were distributing the ballots just now. Before we have the election, you write anybody down. First thing, are there any nominations from the floor? Mr. McCann.
Nominate John Small.
John Small.
Second that.
Seconded by Danny Balin. John, if you'd like to come up, give a speech, please.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Danny. My name is John Schmall. If you'd like to write it down, it's SCHMOLL. All kidding aside, I'm beginning my 2nd year at Burning Tree. Prior to that, I worked at the Stanwich Club. I started my apprenticeship there over 20 years ago, actually 25 to be exact. I was a head pro for 20 years. During that time, I served on the Met PGA Board of Directors from 2010 to 2013. Like I said, I'm starting my 2nd year at Burning Tree. Really excited about the kind of the 2nd chapter of my life with junior golf and whatnot. I've been involved with the junior league team, of course. In fact, I even started a fall league with Ryan Callista at Tamarack last fall. We really had a great time, and I encourage anybody that's interested in the fall league, we can certainly accommodate you there. I was involved with the PGA Hope program at Marshalloo, and as Kelly said, and most of the other folks here, it's a great program. I encourage you all, even if you got one day to go out there, it was awesome. It'll change your life. I know it did mine. So thank you for your consideration. Have a great season. As far as being on the board, I'm going to get behind Alex, Tyler, and Frankie there. I think they got some great programs in the works, and I hope they had some as well. Thank you very much.
Any other nominations from the floor? No other nominations, so we will proceed to the election. I'm just going to read off the 10 candidates. Just as a reminder, please in the ballots write one name down. The majority will win. And we'll come collect the ballots afterwards. First candidate, Nick Banks, Gabe Carr-Harris, Sarah Dixon, Chris Dowling, Dominic Ebert, Matt Hurd, Ian Orr, Dan Spazzato, Ryan Zachary, and John Schmoll. Congratulations, John Schmoll. We'll move on to the secretary position. In addition to those 9 individuals who are running for secretary as well, we do have 2 individuals who are just running for secretary. Both will be giving speeches, so I'll bring up Tony Gill right now. Tony in attendance? Okay, Tony is not here, but we will put his name into the ballot. So that's Tony Gill for secretary. And the second person, also unable to make it, is Kevin Hardy, but he sent in just a paragraph and asked us to read it off. Within that paragraph, I'll explain where Kevin is, but here's Kevin Hardy's speech. Hello and welcome to the 2017 golf season. I think we can all agree that it is about time to get this season started. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Kevin Hardy, and I joined the Met section 3 years ago working at Country Club of Darien. I regret that I am unable to be with you today for our spring meeting because I believe that being active and participating in the great product that we have as Met PGA Assistants section is vital in forging new and meaningful relationships with fellow members that help us grow professionally as well as personally. Currently, Kevin is down at Augusta National giving back in a most rewarding way. He was asked as one of 26 PGA professionals across the entire country to help facilitate the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals, as well as stay for the duration of the tournament as part of the Masters Putting Experience team. Over the years, golf has given him the opportunities that he never dreamed possible. Experiences that will stay with Kevin the rest of his life, great mentors that he still calls on today for guidance. He feels obligated to give back as passionately to golf as to what the game has given to him. He always told that getting involved was a great way to give back, but he never really knew how or was too intimidated to try. That being said, getting involved with junior golf and hosting a summer major at Country Club of Darien last year gave him great insight into what it means to give back and has ultimately led him to actively search for bigger and better ways to get involved, beginning with the secretary position for the Assistants Board. He believes that by joining this board, he can bring ideas to his fellow professionals as well as put his own ideas into action. Again, that was from Kevin Hardy, who was down at Augusta National as one of 26 PGA professionals helping to facilitate the Drive, Chip, and Putt National Finals. So the ballots are on the tables again for secretary. We have 11 names. I'll read off those again. Please write one down. We'll come around and collect. Nick Banks, Gabe Carr-Harris, Sarah Dixon, Chris Dowling, Dominic Ebert, Matt Hurd, Ian Orr, Dan Spizzato, Ryan Zachary, Kevin Hardy, and Tony Gill.
All right, so while they tally those up, congratulations, John. Take advantage of that seat where you are right now because you won't be sitting there next meeting. I do want to give a special thanks to Kevin Rodine. This winter, so for those of you who know or don't know, basically each one of us has a role on the board. And the first vice president's role is tournaments. So part of that is putting together a tournament schedule, like today. With, generally speaking, that position, was Pete Canizaro's. And so Pete started trying to put the tournament schedule together. But when Pete had some things going on, Kevin stepped up. And he didn't just step up. I obviously told him that, don't worry, I'll take over Pete's role and we can do this. Before you know it, I couldn't even keep up with him. It was like, I was crawling and he was running a sprint. So he basically took over that role entirely. He filled every single golf tournament you guys see in your packet. He reached out to every individual and made that effort happen. So a lot of people don't see the amount of work that the staff does on a day-to-day basis, especially over the winter when all of us are sunbathing in Florida, for those of you that do that or play golf or whatever you do when you go down there. I've never done it, but they're doing it 12 months out of the year. And, so it's one of the reasons why I try to avoid reaching out to him on weekends. But, I just want to give a special thanks out to Kevin. He was incredible. He basically took over that first vice president role, and from what I felt, absolutely killed it in addition to everything he did. So if we could, even though he's in the back, just give him a quick round of applause. So while they're tallying things up, just to kind of keep this process moving along, does anybody have any new business? We're gonna just flow right into this meeting here. Let's try to get this over with. I know everyone wants itching to play in 75-degree weather. Any new business out there? Nothing anyone wants to bring up? Once, twice? Dennis, anything? He's done talking. He's at his day. All right. Well, moving on. Do we have any open forum? Anybody want to say something? Open forum? No new business, no open forum. Perfect. Let's check that one off the list. So once we get this, once they tally up everybody and figure out who our new secretary is, we'll just flow right into lunch and tournament instructions. Frank, the legend, Denzel.
How about the scoring links for today?
Scoring links. So I believe Kevin sent that out maybe 2 far in advance. Let's look it up. Generally speaking, the password or code ID, whatever you want to call it, is the date. So you can attempt that. I know that's what we did last year. But let me see if I can find Kevin's email. And again, when he gets up here and speaks about tournament instructions, what have you. Yeah, so he sent the email again this morning at 4:15 in the morning. I mean, who was up at 4:15 in the morning? Because I wasn't. And I got here before everyone else, too. So the code is 0410. He just sent it 4:15 in the morning, so if you haven't checked your email, it's there.
Tyler, right, so when you're inputting the scores, are you doing the score you had on the whole, or are we doing this table for form?
Oh, good question. I don't know. So
Score on the whole.
Score on the whole. So again, we'll have Kevin go through all of this. I know that people wanted to get away from the team event. We ended up making it an individual, but we didn't want it to affect Gil McNally and scoring average on the year, and I know a lot of people are trying to just knock the dust off this time of the year, so we went ahead and made it an executive decision and turned it into a Stableford. We only have one of those a year, it's the Triever. So we went ahead and made it a Stableford. We adjusted the points, so just again, keep your eye on the rules, and we'll have Kevin speak more thoroughly about it, and obviously thank you, Dan. It will be your actual score pickup. Once you've made that double, there's no reason to pull out your 8 or whatever. Hopefully nobody has 8s out there this course can do to you. But just keep that in mind for pace of play. And I'm going to give the note back to Dan.
Secretary results, congratulations to Sarah Dixon. Just one more bit of open forum before I hand it off to Kevin, but I believe Tyler Lauer, you had something as well?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, guys. I've been in this section for 12 years. I could not get up here and say something here. I made sure that this event happened here at Whippoorwill. Greg, the new assistant, took over the reins, and Carrie helped out too, so I appreciate that. Just to reiterate what these guys were saying, I was like you guys in the back of the room, making jokes and not getting involved. And last year I got involved, got on the Squire Cup. I'm walking around the Fenway course with James Ondo, and we start talking, and next thing you know, he tells me that his college roommate just got the job at Sand Valley, which is in my home state of Wisconsin. Next thing you know, my resume is sent out. I'm home for Christmas to see my mother, my brother, my family, and I go have an interview, and now I'm working there. And it's a great opportunity, and just goes to show you that you have to use the people that are around you. There are so many people here that can help you, and you have to take advantage of that. Okay, I didn't for a long time, and I did. I got some great jobs. I worked for some wonderful golf professionals, but now I got a great job. I'm closer to my family. Like I said, I'm going to miss a lot of people here. I'm going to miss the golf. I'm going to miss the staff here, and just pretty much the whole experience here has been great. But it can happen. If it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, I can tell you that. Go out there and have some fun. Carrie's probably going to shoot the course record with Greg today, because they know this place like the back of their hand. But have fun out there. It's a great golf course, and thanks and everything. Like I said, and if you guys, again, I have to do this. I'm working at Sand Valley Golf Resort. It's a great spot. Okay, Cord Crenshaw. I'm the PGA Group Coordinator, so if you guys want to really impress your members and bring them to the new hot spot, this is it. Okay? So come to Wisconsin and have some fun, all right? Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kelly. I like this guy. I like that shaking towels. And he's the one person in this room that does not need a microphone for everybody to hear him. Moving on, I'm going to go ahead and let Kevin Rodine speak on today's tournament.
Okay, when we get outside, we'll actually go over a few more things probably just before the shotgun. It is a stable fort. It was a great idea. I don't use names, but thanks, Paul, for bringing it up. I think it's great. The one thing is it will affect the scoring average because when you pick up, we can't use that. Player of the year, overall points and everything, but the scoring average, and I think that's a good thing for the guys who haven't played all winter. You know, there was a player who won a tournament last year and didn't get most improved, maybe because of one score. So the fact that this won't count towards the Gil McNally or the scoring average because we pick our ball up, but your player of the year points and everything will be there. You know, Tyler really did a good job saying, let's make this simple, let's make this easy. We talked about points, and I think if you're picking your ball up, it should be a minus point, personally. But if you make the bogey, it's going to be 0. From there, everything will be positive points. The live scoring code is on the scorecard also. Just as a reminder, you got kicked out, I need to check back in real quick. I'm a huge proponent of live scoring. Some people don't like it. I promise you it helps us with skins and supplemental faster afterwards. It helps us pay the club faster. It helps us pay the purse faster because all this information doesn't have to be done tomorrow or the next day or when we get back to the office because we're on the road a lot. So I appreciate you helping with it. For all the new players or anybody that hasn't participated before, we will be outside where the Met Assistance tablecloth is and the table with a TV that we score on. We have a supplemental purse that is $50 per player cash, and we have a skins purse that is $20 per player cash. You don't have to participate, but if you want to, that's also out there. And as soon as we're done scoring, we'll pay those out this afternoon. So, okay, I think we're ready to have the president come back up here.
So normally I would try to get this over with as quick as possible, but they actually need a couple more minutes outside. So while we're waiting, those cards that Chris Dowling, first of all, thank you for doing that, Chris Dowling. That was completely out of the box. I don't think I've ever seen anybody really prepare stuff like that for an election process. So thank you wherever you are. If you don't mind filling out that card, we're gonna have John Schmall collect that and start tallying. We're going to put him to work today. We're not going to wait any longer. So again, if you haven't already done so, that manila, the yellow, whatever color that is, ivory page, please don't, if you don't mind just filling that out for us. It'd be great for us to start collecting some of that information and see if we can get those participating clubs up from 16 to hopefully our goal is to get it above 30 again, like we once were. Anything?
The only the range we can renovate and how
So again, just kind of what I mentioned briefly before. Unfortunately, today we were not going to be warming up. The driving range is currently under a big renovation. I'm excited to see it. I saw their driving range before. Apparently they have target greens and big massive tee box. They're building a big chipping green in the back of it. So a place that did have property, they were able to expand it. So congratulations to Whippoorwill and all that opportunity. But sorry for everybody here today. Aside from that, I'll tell you what, those greens look pretty decent outside. So that's pretty nice.
We're not warming up on the driving range, or we did tee off earlier?
Maybe. We'll have to check. You know, generally speaking, it's superintendent's wish, you know, what time we tee off. So I'd hate to jump in front of them, especially, you know. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe you could just get some extra putting practice. I know in the next, you know, hour and a half, we're going to have to be changing. Please do not change in the parking lot. Make sure you change in the locker room. I believe there's some locker room attendant. Didn't want you guys were. So again, please just change in the locker room. There should be a locker room attendant up there to help you out with that and guide you in the right direction. Aside from that, we'll have lunch. So generally speaking, we don't have enough time to warm up. So today you might just have a little bit extra time and do some stretching. Aside from that, all right. Well, again, this is generally the time to be doing new business in open forum, but if you guys have any comments now, please feel free. Otherwise, just hang out and chat with amongst the people at your table, and whenever they're ready for us, we'll get out there.
What time should the players be at their golf cart?
Good. So let's get to our golf court 15 minutes before the shotgun. I believe the shotgun is 12:30. Yeah. So again, just please try to be at your golf carts about 15 minutes beforehand. We'll give the last minute instructions and we'll send everybody out to the holes. Just to touch on that, maybe if we do get out to our holes by 12:30, which we generally never do, we can maybe get this round started a little bit earlier. But thank you, Mr. Ballo, on that. And other than that, just go ahead and mingle amongst your peers, and we'll get this thing going. Thank you, everyone.